So I recently went through 2 cycles of IVF and embryo freezing, and I decided to share my journey because this topic is something which normally people don't discuss, don't share, and you feel like you are the only one who doing that until you start sharing and you actually see how many people are going through the same thing. I think it helps. It helps to know that you are not alone. That's why I actually decided to share this video to tell about my experience. Because when I was preparing, I was watching YouTube videos, and everyone I watched helped me somehow to feel better, comfort me, and in general make it easier journey for me. So if you're preparing for IVF or you're already in the middle of this cycle, I hope this will help. I hope you will find it comforting. I did find lots of information about horrible experiences which people went through. I don't know why, maybe like if something is okay, people don't really share, but I did heard lots of stories when something went wrong or like women were feeling incredibly bad. In my case, it was actually opposite. It was quite easy. I didn't feel much pain. I didn't feel much hormonal changes, not physically, not mentally. That's why I do want to tell you that it's okay as well. It is possible as well that everything will be fine for you. And even if it's not, it's okay. I guess we're all different people, so everybody have different reactions. In the beginning, I want to say for the people who don't really know what's IVF and how it works, I want to quickly explain to you. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just telling you my experience and what I heard from a doctor. Please double check this information. So every month during the menstrual cycle, we have follicles which are growing in ovaries. Women have left and right ovaries. And every ovulation, one of the egg is maturing and have ability to get fertilized. This one egg, when it's growing up, follicle bursts and the egg is moving on the fallopian tube to the uterus. And here, if it was unprotected sexual act and the sperm came inside, the egg can get fertilized. And if it doesn't get fertilized, the woman have period. If it gets fertilized, the woman gets pregnant. So what the IVF treatment does to increase the chances of getting a healthy embryo or healthy baby, you need as many eggs as possible. And normally women have several follicles. And what this hormonal treatment does is the follicles, they get stimulated, and not one of them, but all of them are growing and maturing inside the ovaries. So all of them can be taken out during egg retrieval operation and get fertilized to become embryos. Or if the woman just making an egg freezing operation, they can just get freeze until the woman is ready to take it and fertilize with a sperm. So yeah, that's the idea. Normally the stimulation is like from 8 till 12 days, depending on woman, and it started on 2nd day of period. After that, when follicles get matured, most of them, the egg retrieval operation happened, and the eggs can get out and get frozen or get fertilized with a sperm and become embryo, and later on can be put back inside the uterus to hopefully the pregnancy to happen, or get frozen, how it was in my case. To start sharing my story, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Julia. Currently, I'm 35 years old. We've been married with my husband JJ for the last 5 years, and we've been together for the 8 years. We're actually discussing our economical situation, our life situation, and we decided that we are not really ready economically to have a child yet. We still want to travel the world a little bit more. We are trying to build online income. We cannot really rely on this online income because it's not stable yet. And probably JJ would have to find some job like all year round and potentially not be happy on that job. So it was really hard decision, but we decided that we will be ready for the kid when we have a little bit more economical stability, so we can hire some help, some lady. And I don't really mean the help with a child, because I do want to experience everything myself with the kid, but more like the lady who will help me cook, clean the house, so I don't become this crazy mom which doesn't have time for herself, really unhappy. And JJ wouldn't become this person who have to go to job he does not enjoy just to bring food to the table. I understand our perspective might be a little bit selfish, but it's our life and that's how we chose to live it. But I was turning 35 years old, and I knew that this age is kind of a line for the woman. It's good to have a first child before 35, because after 35 there might be some complications and it might be a bit more difficult, and normally women have less eggs by that age and the quality of the eggs is not that great either. So that's how we decided to do the IVF and freeze our embryos as well. So when we're ready in a few years, we still can have healthy child. So that's a press story, how we decided to do the IVF and freeze our embryos. When we decided this, we were in Philippines, but we knew we are coming back for a new season to Cyprus. So when we arrived in Cyprus, we start looking for the clinics. If you don't know, Cyprus is actually divided to two parts, like the official one, the Republic of Cyprus, where the Greek Cypriots live, and the non-recognized country, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, I think the official name of it, or North Cyprus, how most people are calling it. And I was actually checking both sides of Cyprus to compare the prices and compare the clinics. And honestly, I've been living in Cyprus for the last 8 years, let's say, not fully, only in summers, but I did have not great experiences with doctors there. Every time I went to doctor, it was such a disappointment. They couldn't fix my problem, or they doing it so difficult way that it was just frustrating. But on the other hand, I did have quite pleasant experience with the doctors of North Cyprus, because normally these doctors, they study and practice in UK or Turkey, so they kind of have more experience. And for some reason, North Cyprus is really popular with this IVF. I'm not sure 100%, but I think it might be because in Turkey it's kind of not legal, because it's pretty religious country. So all people from Turkey, they come to North Cyprus if they cannot conceive to do the IVF treatment. That's why they have lots of clinics and good experience. For me, it was important that it's not like they do one IVF treatment in a month. I wanted them to be experienced and to have many happy patients and many successful cases. I actually started with just normal Google search. I was checking the reviews, checking the locations. We were living in Ayanapa and we didn't really want to go far away every few days. You need to do something. You need to do some treatment, or you need to do some ultrasounds. And also for the operation, I didn't want to drive too much because I knew I would feel probably tired. So yeah, the location was one of the important reasons as well. So we ended up going to around 10 clinics, meet the doctors, see the environment. And we did 2 clinics, one in Nicosia and one in Famagusta. And Famagusta was actually half an hour drive from Ayanapa where we live, which was great. So we ended up choosing the clinic in Famagusta, and the reviews were great from many foreigners, from people from UK, from America and other countries. And I really like my doctor because she was speaking good English. And for me it was important because not many people in North Cyprus speak English. We speak Turkish there. Although my husband does speak Turkish and he were able to communicate with them and translate to me, I wanted somebody who I can directly communicate with. So this doctor I really like. The reviews was great. It was just half an hour drive from our house. So yeah, the clinic, I did like the clinic and we ended up choosing it. It's called Cyprus IVF. I actually like the system in this clinic that doctor doesn't really deal much with like administration things. She didn't even know the prices, nothing. She was only like dealing with the ultrasounds when we're deciding the medication doses and this kind of stuff, and of course the egg retrieval operation itself. For all the other organizational questions, we had a special lady. Our lady was Aisun. She was really, really nice. We had her WhatsApp contact, and 24/7 she was answering all my questions, all organizational things. That was really, really convenient to have someone out there 24/7 who I can message and say like, look, I have this, is it okay? Or like, what should I do? During IVF, you want this support 24/7. And that was one of the biggest pluses for me in this clinic. When I had my first appointment with the clinic, they actually did ultrasound. It was my first day of the period, so if everything would have been okay, I could have started treatment the next day. But they found a cyst in one of my ovaries, so they actually told me for one cycle to get the birth control pills and then come back the next first day of bleeding to see how it's going. Actually, no, I think it was second day of bleeding. Yes, sorry, second day of bleeding. I started taking the Yasmin pills, and when my next bleeding came, the second day, I came to the clinic. They performed ultrasound as well to see if everything's okay, if the cyst disappear, we were able to start the IVF treatment. So yeah, in my case, in the second cycle when I came and did ultrasound, everything was good, it was no cyst. They also can see approximately how many follicles do you have. You know, it depends from person to person, and younger girls can have around 20 follicles. In my case, it wasn't much. Also, before starting the treatment, they took my blood to make some kind of test. There are two important things which they are checking. Number one is anti-Müllerian hormones, which kind of shows your egg's reserve. Actually, my number was pretty low. It was 144, which for my age, 35 years old, it's pretty low. And the other thing they check in is FSH. It's some kind of follicle quality or something like that. Mine was 15.1, which actually is higher than normal. So I was prepared, and I was told by doctors that in my situation, I might need more than one IVF cycle to get good amount of embryos, because my egg quantity is lower and my egg quality is not that great. That's what I was told, and actually I was really, really worried about it, because I do feel healthy, you know. I don't have much health issues. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm trying to eat healthy. Of course, I'm a little bit overweight, I think, but other than that, I mean, I don't have any problems. I don't have any chronic diseases, any allergies or something. My general health is great. That's why I was so surprised when they told me that my actually woman health is not that great. And that's something which you realize that you can hardly control this. This is just like something which was done. Apparently, the amount of eggs the girl will have is building when she's in her mom's uterus that early. So it's something you cannot really change. But the quality, I think you can. And it can derive from like your lifestyle, diet, this alcohol consumption, smoking, and this kind of stuff. But it was just frustrating to me. The person who does not smoke, does not drink, I still don't have the great results. So I was a little bit worried, honestly. And when they make this first ultrasound and then told me it's okay, we can start stimulation, they can kind of see the follicles in each of ovaries in the left and the right. They're pretty tiny. So sometimes they say it might be more than because they might be too tiny and we cannot even see them until the stimulation starts and they start growing. In my case, in the first cycle, I had only 5 follicles. I get out and I was crying because I read the stories on the internet and I watch the YouTube videos that people have like 20 follicles and everything. And somewhere I read that like to have one healthy embryo, you need 6 follicles. I'm not sure if this information is like true, but I was thinking like, what, I cannot get even one baby out of these 5 follicles. So yeah, I was crying, I was really upset about it, and I was discussing it with my husband. He was really supportive. Yeah, I'm really grateful to him. And he was saying like, look, stop thinking about all these numbers. I believe that me and you were lucky. It will happen somehow. Don't think about the numbers, but it will happen. We'll have good amount of embryos in the end. So it did help me. I started thinking that way. I started thinking about my blood test results and the numbers of follicles and everything. I started kind of believing in a miracle that in the end it will still happen. We'll still have healthy embryos for us to eventually have a healthy child, because that's something I dreamed about all my life. And although I think I will be fine with adopting the child if in the end I wouldn't be possible to have our own child, but it's just always was my dream. So I always wanted to have like little part of me and little part of JJ running around, you know. For me, blood is important, which actually interesting because for JJ is not. Maybe it's something to do with that he doesn't really go through pregnancy and he will not feel it. For him, the moment the baby arrives to the world, that's the starting point. So that's what he's saying. We can just take the little baby, adopt the little baby, and it will be all the same. For me, it actually matters. Yeah, I do want to see some features from, like, let's say, from my husband, from me, from my mom, you know, these kind of little things, and say like, look, you behave like just like you, or something like that, you know. I don't know. I just think it's important. I did get prescribed the medication, and I was told to start the injections. So I will show you the medication. I got prescribed the Gonal F, the hormonal injections. They're actually pretty popular IVF medication. I read the reviews, they're pretty good. Normally women don't have many side effects, and it's pretty easy to inject yourself, and it's also not painful, doesn't leave any bruises. So the reviews were really good, so I was excited about this one. I also get prescribed some folic acid, but instead of folic acid I was just continuing taking the vitamins, this pregnant care before conception, because it does have already folic acid, some inositol, vitamins D, B12 and CoQ10. So actually I started this one when I was just thinking to start IVF, but they told me I cannot because I have a cyst. So I was taking it like 1 month before I start the injections. They also prescribed me the Ultrasound. I think this is some kind of progesterone hormone, something like that. I understand each country have different rules and different medications, but I'm just sharing with you what I was taking. So maybe if you are doing it in Cyprus as well, you can compare what you were prescribed. My dosage for Gonal F was 300 units daily, and they told me to make injections for 5 days and come on the 6th day to ultrasound to see how it's growing. Actually, before starting the IVF, the most thing I was worried about were injections, because I'm not fan of needles. I cannot say like I'm scared of needles, but I normally don't even look when I get some injections. I don't like it. And I was actually really scared and worried how I'm going to do it myself. We were discussing it with JJ, and he told me that, okay, if you cannot, I will do it for you. And then we discussed if he cannot as well. We would just go to hospital. I can just jump in a car, drive half an hour, and get an injection and come back. Obviously not the most convenient way, but still doable. Actually, Gonal F is pretty easy to use. It's called prefilled pen, so it doesn't even look like a needle, doesn't look scary at all. Here is a little window which will show the dosage, and when you open it, it looks like that. I have a little bit left over, so I will show you on this one because I'm planning to throw it away anyway. So here how it looks, and there are little needles which you just open like this. Then just place it here, screw it until you hear the click, open. There is another protection cap as well, you take it out as well. Okay, and as you can see, the needle is pretty small, it's tiny, and it's thin as well. So it's actually not scary at all. And then here you need to check your dosage, like this, sorry. For me it was 300, so I would have just put 300 here, and that's it. Do injection. An injection is done in the belly area, and because you're doing it daily, normally you do it like one day left side, another day right. I was also using this kind of alcohol swabs to just make sure everything is clean. So my first injection, I actually got in a clinic. A doctor showed me, actually not doctor, I think it was the nurse. Yeah, the nurse showed me how to do it. The cool thing, you can also go down as well. Like if you make it wrong, you can take it out. Even though these needles look really small and easy, and the clinic, they did send me the video what to do, I was still scared and honest, and I couldn't do it myself. I was just sitting like that with a needle to my belly and was thinking like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it to myself. I feel like if I wouldn't be alone and I wouldn't have any option, probably I would push and I will do it. But I was just like, when I was standing like this, I just saw my husband was sitting there and watching me. And I think that kind of made me, every time when I'm next to my husband, I'm like much more weak. When I'm alone, much more stronger. So yeah, I said, babe, please, can you do it? So he came and he did it. And after that, yeah, every day he was doing it. Actually, it was his first time, but he learned pretty quick and he got so good at it. The last injections, I wasn't feeling it at all. It was really, really good. So yeah, that was my medications. I was doing one injection of this gonal F. The important thing, it should be, because it's hormones, it should be every day exact the same time. Twice a day I was getting Tarlosal, and the vitamins I was getting in the morning as well, one pill. So how was I feeling? The thing about this gonal F injection, it needs to be placed in the fridge. And I heard a tip that if you actually take it out like half an hour before the injection, you let the drug to warm up a little bit and it's not as painful. I think first time in the hospital, I did it straight away. I bought the injection, so it was ice cold and I actually felt the drug going through my body. And we were in Cyprus, and Cyprus is really hot. So I think the temperature difference with my body and the injection was huge. So it wasn't really pleasant feeling. That's why I start taking it out from the fridge, but not half an hour because it's too much for Cyprus weather. It was like 10-15 minutes was enough for Cyprus, and it did improve. So I hardly feel anything. Obviously, JJ is like, he was just learning. So the first times it was a little bit painful. Sometimes it was bleeding, but it was just a second pain. So maybe when he was inserting the needle or when he was taking it out. But the process itself, when the drug was coming inside my body, I didn't really feel, I told you, like only first time when it was ice cold. And after that, when I started doing this trick with taking it out of the fridge, it was good. It was all good. What I was feeling during this injection, honestly, I didn't have much side effect. The only thing I had was the first day when I just started the injection, I have a horrible headache and I knew that I cannot really take any pills. I was actually very worried and I was thinking not to do anything, just try, lie down, relax and let the headache pass. But it was growing and growing and growing, and at one point it gets to the point that I couldn't just handle it. So I messaged Isun, the lady from the clinic, and I told her that I cannot stand. My headache is horrible. Normally I do take ibuprofen, but ibuprofen is not recommended during this kind of treatment. So she told me to take paracetamol. I did, and I went to sleep. When I wake up, I still had a little bit headache, but I started doing something and the headache was gone. It was all good. So that was like the first day reaction. Other than that, I didn't really felt much. I did felt a little bit like something is growing in my ovaries. I'm not sure, was it like my imagination or was it really I was feeling something? but it was like a little bit heaviness in the lower belly. And in the end, when I was like going closer to egg retrieval operation, it was actually painful to lay down on the sides and on the belly, because I felt like my ovaries get bigger, my follicles get bigger. So I wasn't comfortable. I was sleeping on my back. And visually, I feel like my belly did grow a little bit, but not much. Honestly, I didn't see that much of a difference. I didn't see any like mood swings or something, cravings or something like that. I felt absolutely fine physically. I didn't have any problem. I was feeling good. Mentally, I was worried, honestly, especially before the first ultrasound, to see if follicles are growing, if everything is okay. I was worried. Is it really working? Because my problem was, like, I am a little bit overthinking, and I didn't have any symptoms in the beginning, like other than headache. When headache was gone, I was doing injection for 5 days. I didn't feel much. I didn't feel anything. So I actually started Googling, like, is it okay to not have any side effect, any symptom? And Google told me, yeah, it's okay, it's normal. But I was still worried. I was still thinking, like, maybe my body is not reacting. Maybe my follicles are not growing. You know, I was like literally overthinking it. So yeah, on the day 6, I went to the first ultrasound to see if it's working. And yeah, my follicles were growing. I had 13.5 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 11, and 11. My 5 follicles all were responding and all were growing. I actually was so happy and so relieved. After that, I started feeling much better. And then they told me that everything is okay. I still continue all the same medication, everything the same. And on the day 10, I needed to come again for ultrasound. When I came on day 10, I have results of 19.5, 16.5, 12.5, 10.5, 18, and 16.5 millimeters. That was the size of the follicles. And I think what they want is like from 19 to 12 to 21 millimeters follicles to be ready to extract it. But they don't want to make it like too big, because it can burst by itself, and that means they cannot do a retrieval operation anymore. Everything is wasted, so you need to start everything all over again. So they do check it clearly to make sure it doesn't overgrow. But you see, in my case, only like one follicle was 19.5 and the other was 18. All the others were a bit small, so it means they might have been not ready to, not matured enough. So yeah, that was 11th day, and they told me that the next day was supposed to be the trigger shot. The trigger shot is a different medication, and it's supposed to be the exact, I think, 72 hours, if I'm not mistaken, from the egg retrieval operation. It's really important. The trigger shot medication I was using is called Retrieval. It looks like this. It's already empty because I used it, but I give the packaging to show it to you. It's just one little injection kit. As you can see, the needle is tiny as well, so it's really small and easy. And this trigger shot, I think it's a different hormone, which make your body ovulate, so finalize the maturation of your follicles, so they are ready to be taken, they are ready to be extracted. After the trigger shot, I didn't feel anything much as well. I was feeling this fullness in your stomach. That's it. I didn't feel anything much. My egg retrieval operation was on 14th day of my cycle. So that means 13th day after starting the stimulation. 12 hours before the operation, you're supposed not to drink, not to eat, but it's like common thing in the operation. I really like how it was organized in the clinic. We arrive in the morning, me and JJ, and they give us a whole room with like bed, TV, shower. Everything was private. It was amazing. It was even a little seat for JJ as well to sit and relax, because obviously I was really stressed, really worried. It was actually the first operation in my life. I never been in hospital. I never been under seduction, so I was really nervous, really stressed. So it was great that JJ was all the time with me, and we could have speak. He could have like cuddle me, comfort me. That was amazing. So the moment I arrived to the room, they start taking my blood pressure, making some tests. They gave me a clothing to change. They also put me this dripping thing in the vein, don't know how to call it. They did put me some antibiotics, I guess, to make sure there is no infection during operation. And after that, they put me some other thing, don't know what was it. So the room seems really nice. Everybody taking care of me. Still a bit nervous. Now I'm getting my antibiotics. And soon going to operation. When the operation time came, they actually arrived for the wheelchair. They put me on a wheelchair and they take me to the other floor where the operation is supposed to be done. It was so many nurses there, so many doctors. I got so scared. I was really close to start crying. And then I was like, come on, you are strong. You cannot cry in front of all these 10 nurses. They will think you are crazy. So the nurses, I think they saw that I'm stressful. They start chatting with me, asking like, oh, where are you from? Have you ever been under seduction? Have you ever did operation and everything? When they heard that I never been under seduction, they said like, oh, you will love it. I actually heard that a lot, that people say, oh, it's like a drug. It's like being drunk. It's so great. It's so great. But I don't know, I was still worried because it's my first time. And then I went to operation room, I see my doctor, so I felt much more relaxed because at least there is some person I know in the room. And yeah, they put me on the table and they gave me this seduction and I just fall asleep. I didn't feel anything. I don't know what people are so loving about it. I didn't feel much. I feel like heaviness, I feel like a little bit dizziness, and I did close my eyes straight away, and it just was like this. I let everything on black, and I don't remember anything. The how operation goes, I was laying down in my back, and my legs were up, like in when you do this gynecological checkup, same position. But I was just laid down, and my legs were up. How they do this egg retrieval operation, it's the same thing as ultrasound, vaginal ultrasound, which they do throughout all the IVF journey. Is that just the difference is that there is a needle next to this thing with ultrasound. So when they insert it, it's actually the inserting needle as well, but they can see what's going on. So how it works, next to this cervix, the ovaries are on the both sides. So normally how they show it on the pictures is a bit like on the distance, but in real life it's actually really close. So there is like cervix wall, and here is straight away the ovaries. So what they do, the needle comes through the vagina to the cervix, and then they, through the wall of cervix, they enter the ovary, and one by one they take the egg out, and they do it same for first for left ovary, and then they do it for right ovary. So it's actually a really easy and simple operation, just 15 minutes, and the needle is really small. So the hole in cervix which I make are pretty small from a needle, so it's supposed to recover really quick. So this operation is like 15 minutes long, not much at all. After that, I wake up in a room. They already bring me inside the room. They make sure I'm okay because they did shake me and say like, Julia. I remember I was like, oh, what they want from me? I'm sleeping here. And I was like, I'm just doing an operation. I forgot about it. So yeah, I was already in the room with a JJ. And in this time, JJ was given the sperm sample, and they were fertilizing the eggs they just took from me, everything fresh, nice and fast. Also, when I wake up, they did told me the results of my egg retrieval operation, and they said that they took 4 eggs. but 2 of them were matured and 2 of them were not really matured, but they say sometimes it gets fertilized as well. So after that, I did sleep, I think, around an hour or so in the room, and then they bring us food. Actually, they bring food not only to me but to JJ as well, and my food was looking not great, something like boiled chicken, rice, no salt, nothing, and JJ food was normal. It was looking good actually, but yeah, it's normal after operation. And that's it actually. They send you home. After that, they do send you home. So I did felt pain, but not as much as I was thinking actually. And I was really scared to go toilet, to go to pee, because when I was searching about this egg retrieval recovery, somebody said that it will be really painful. You will feel like it's burning when you pee. I was so scared. First time when I went to pee to the toilet, I was just sitting and like scared to start the process because I was worried it's gonna hurt. But it was fine. I tried, I didn't feel anything. I was like, wow, that's cool. And then I think when the seduction was like slowly getting away, I started feeling the pain. The first day, the pain was pretty bad, but still, it was near close to what I was expecting it will be. I was like needing to go like slowly. The pain was mainly in the ovaries, so left and right side, the lower belly. It was actually hurting when I was moving. So when I was just laying down and not doing anything, I was feeling fine. So first day it's recommended not to do anything, just relax in your couch, watch TV. I asked JJ's mom prepare the chicken soup for me, so I was eating some light food. I don't even know why I recommend you to eat this kind of simple food. I think maybe it's something to do with you might be constipated after this operation, and they just making sure you don't. That's why soup was great. The next day I was feeling better. The day after that I was feeling even better. So I think 3 days took me to feel nearly like 90% good. The only thing I couldn't do was like long walks. After walking more than 15 minutes, I was start feeling pain in my ovaries. But other than that, I was doing normal life, so I recovered pretty quick. It took me like 3 days. I know some people go even the next day to work, but for me, yeah, I wouldn't be able to. I think for me, I needed a bit longer. And I think after 1 week, I felt 100% recovered. I was able to do long walks. And it was all good. I didn't feel any pain. After operation, they did give me some antibiotics to make sure there is no infection. They give me this Ultrasound again to make sure my period starts. I think I was taking it around a week, and they say like stop it, and then after a few days my period's supposed to come. But it's not really like period because it's more like hormonal bleeding, something like that. And while I was recovering, they were sending us the report about how our embryos are growing. They do send report of the first, third, and a 5th day. I will place the picture here where they were showing how the report looks. And in the end, we had 2 healthy embryos, really good, great. But we've heard that 2 embryos are not enough, because to make sure there is 1 birth, 1 healthy birth, you kind of need 3 embryos, which is a like good ratio. Of course, like you can get 1 healthy child from 1 embryo, but I just wanted to make sure we do have enough embryos frozen while I'm still 35 and while I'm still healthy. So we decided to go to 2nd cycle. So I waited for this like bleeding to pass, and then you need to wait for your actual period another like 27 days, something like that. And then when my actual period came, on the 2nd day, I went to make ultrasound to make sure everything is okay. And they did start the process all over again. The 2nd time, I actually had smaller follicles. I had only 4. And actually, the 2nd cycle was a bit more difficult for me. I was feeling fatigue. I was like tired. And I started feeling pain in ovaries straight away. I think after the first day of stimulation, I started feeling a little bit pain. I don't know, maybe because like it didn't recover fully, and it was just like 1 month after the first egg retrieval operation. I'm not sure, but yes, second cycle for me was a bit hard. But the lucky thing was I already finished work, so I wasn't working, and I was just taking this 2 weeks easy. Most of the time I was chilling. I was a little bit working on my laptop, but still sometimes even still in laying down position, because that was like the most comfortable position for me. And I just decided to dedicate this time to my health, to just grow the follicles, make sure everything is okay. This time I did egg retrieval operation on 12th day of cycle, so it was 1 day before. I got 4 eggs again, same as first time, but this time all 4 got fertilized. So now I do have 6 embryos. 4 of them are good quality, 1 of them is a bit less quality, and 1 of them is like before, how you call it, before blooded cyst, something like that. Now I'm happy. I think have a great chance to have a healthy baby, hopefully, when we're ready for it. So in the end, I want to share a little bit tips. I think that's what I was doing, and I think what helped me with my not great results of MAH and FSH and the number of follicles, I still get pretty good results, I believe, in my opinion. Even the doctor was shocked from my second cycle when we went from the four follicles which I had. All of them have 4 eggs, and all 4 eggs get fertilized, and 2 of them were like great quality. So she was like, yeah, honestly, I was expecting worse results. I don't know if it's my luck or if it's these things I was doing, but I want to share it with you. Maybe it will help you as well. So first of all, I was doing dieting. Diet was, I stopped the sugar, I stopped all the processed food. I was making sure I ate a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, I was eating meat, eggs. I was cooking most of the food myself. I was making sure I don't eat anything packaged. Everything is kind of like caveman food. And I did start this diet, I would say, like a few months before I start IVF treatment, together with this pregnant care vitamins, which I started like 1 month before the treatment. The second thing which I stopped a few months before the treatment as well was coffee. I do love coffee, but what I did, I just changed it to decaf, and still I wasn't drinking more than 1-2 cups a day, because even decafs have some caffeine, so I was taking like less. And I stopped like Coke and all this kind of stuff which have caffeine as well. Number 3, I was making sure I'm very easy with my work. I wasn't taking too much project, I wasn't taking too much work. I was making sure I'm relaxing every day enough. I'm sleeping good. I was sleeping like 9 hours every day, sometimes even more. I was making sure there is no stress in my life. There is like nothing critical going on in this period of time. I think it was really, really important. It did help me. Also, every day after the moment I was doing the injection, I was listening meditations. And I believe in this. If you think positive, I do believe it somehow influences our bodies. I actually was looking for IVF meditations and I couldn't find the one I'm happy. So I did create IVF meditation myself, exactly for the follicles, visualizing how my follicles are growing. I will put the link in the description for you as well, guys. If you want to listen something and imagine how like your follicles are growing, they're healthy and all this, it's like short meditation, but it did help me a lot. I was thinking much more relaxed, much more confident, much more calm after listening to it. It was kind of like a ritual. Every time I was putting the injection, straight away I was going to the dark room, putting on the meditation and like imagining how this drug, which I just inject, going through my body and nourishing follicles, you know what I mean? Yeah, I definitely believe it helped. So yeah, these little things I did, and I think that I do have successful results. I don't know, maybe for some of you who are watching and getting like 20 eggs, maybe my results were like 4 and 2 eggs. Sounds funny. But for me, I'm happy with the results. I'm happy with the amount of embryos I have. So now they're all frozen and waiting for me and JJ one day to be ready and have our child. If you're going through the same journey, or if you are considering to go through IVF, I just want to tell you that it's not as difficult as I've heard. It actually was much faster, much calmer, and much more simpler. I understand maybe not everybody have as good experience as I did, and that's normal. We're all different, but I mean, it can be like that as well. And I think both times are normal. The main thing is like the result. If you are getting what you are doing it for, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it, you know. When you are going through this, just think about why you are doing this. And I don't know. Hopefully, you will have your baby soon as well. Thank you for watching, and wish you luck on this journey.